Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the annual Excellence in Design Awards. Thank you. The purpose of this presentation is twofold. One, to recognize hardworking individuals who've made these projects come to life, and two, to share with you some of the far-reaching and really quite different projects all around the state. We had 27 nominees in this year's contest. That's more than last year. It's more than the year before. We know from the employee survey and other sources that people need recognition. They want recognition, and this program, this Design Awards effort, is just one of those. It's encouraging that you are putting your best foot forward to nominate your project, so thank you very much. I'm Dan Tyler from the Bureau of Project Development. It's my pleasure to be your host this afternoon, now for the 12th year. Thank you to this year's judges who volunteered to review the nomination and judge them based on the criteria that we publish. Thanks especially to Kyle, Jill, Kai, and Cassie, who are all new judges this year. I would like one more judge from the consulting world, by the way, so if you're interested for next year's program, drop me a line. It's pretty interesting to see these projects from all around the state. The criteria for this contest are aligned with the department's priorities. Some of you might have noticed that we also put out a real short how-to video prior to this year's awards during the nomination period to address some of those common questions, common shortcomings that we often see in nominations that keep otherwise strong projects from winning design awards. So I hope that that helped. And well, how do I say this? We also saw some evidence suggesting that some nominations did not come upon that advice. Well, regardless, whether you are taking home some hardware today or not, you took the time to nominate your projects, and so I'm going to share it with the world. So now, with the presenters, please join me on stage. We have Rebecca Burkle, our administrator, Todd Matheson, deputy administrator, and Mike, you can join us from ACEC if you want or not. No, for AC. Mike Stotts, incoming president of the board for ACEC, right? Thanks for being here. So thanks to our presenters for excellence in handshaking. Dan Arneson, thank you for being here to take photographs today. Mike Denreiter, thanks for running our video for our live webcast. If you notice the pause at the beginning of the presentation, that was a proper countdown for our live webcast. So welcome to our worldwide audience. Hi, Mom and Dad. Okay, so just the last bit of introduction. I think it's worth underscoring that this work needs to be seen. All of us have a lot of turnover. We have new staff. Everyone benefits from seeing how their colleagues are handling difficult problems that we all face. It's never been more relevant to showcase these projects. So please, join me. Let's have a look. It's been my experience over the years that the Bureau of Structures is a hardworking group of people, and this year I'd like to honor that by featuring structure nominees first. So our nominees first from the WisDOT side. The first nominee is the Northeast Region's State Trunk 15 structure over the Wisconsin Central Limited Railroad. This is part of a larger Hortonville bypass project, and it touches down into a roundabout just east of Hortonville. The 62-degree skew angle added complexity to the structural design. You can see in this image that one MSE wall was set back from the tracks to maintain agricultural access. Thanks Bill Bertrand from the region, and Nick Rice, Emily Keene, and Aaron Bonk for your leadership with this design. Our next nominee comes from the Northwest region, the State Trunk 95 bridges over Halls Creek and Cisna Creek. 70-year-old structures were replaced, one with a concrete girder bridge that eliminated a pier in the water, the other with a concrete slab that provided freeboard without raising the profile. In coordination with DNR, the natural flow of Cisna Creek was reestablished. The judges noted that there certainly is a role for bridges that are not especially unique, frankly, and when these are well done, the department really benefits. Alyssa Munden was the design lead for Northwest Region. Isatu Sise was the structure designer at BOS. Next, let's travel to the Southeast region and have a look at the Highland Road interchange, part of the larger I-43 project. The complex group of structures includes 2 bridges and 6 MSE walls working together to span I-43 and the Union Pacific Railroad. You can see that it's a highly constrained urban environment, and several design elements were adapted to fit that context. One feature of the new bridge is that people can now get across the corridor on bike or on foot. Simple aesthetics were selected to elevate the look of this high-profile project at a minimal cost. Kudos to Steve Hoff, Emily Keene, Adam Swerzik, and Angels Vargas for your work on this project. The next nominee comes from the Southwest region, one of the longest slab-span bridges in the state, measuring in at 420 feet, the South Main Street Bridge in Jefferson. Well, come on down from the Southwest region, and Stacy Hauserman from BOS, you are this year's winner. Stacy, come on down. I'm not sure if Southwest has a rep. Jeremy Hall was the PM at the time. Stacy, our first winner of the day, come on down. There's plenty to talk about with this bridge. First off, the nomination described at least 3 structure alternatives and the rationale for choosing this 7-span haunched concrete slab. While the alignment matches existing, the width was expanded to a 34-foot clear roadway with 7-foot raised sidewalks on each side. This is one of the few locations to cross the Rock River. The judges noted that in the project, more than others, the structure's design really drove the project. The design was complicated by its 35-degree skew, which required extra analysis. All the wings were different, yet for all that was different within this bridge in the broader picture, it took care to match other structures in the city. And one quick final thing, the project was let in May of 2022. The contractor had to work during the winter by stipulation rather than having a winter shutdown. The result was that the same completion date was achieved in 2023, but the public was able to use the bridge and the waterway all throughout the spring of 2022. So congratulations to the Southwest Region and Bureau of Structures. Next, let's have a look at structures designed by consultants. The Southeast Region nominated West 6th Street over the Root River in Racine. Ayers was tasked with replacing a historic bridge in a downtown area. They used high-definition scanning to capture some of the unique features of the 1928 bridge and then emulate those on the new bridge. They also used an exterior fascia beam along with a faux precast arch. Thanks to Dave Ponsloff from Ayers and Michael Baird, the WisDOT project manager. Our next nominee comes from the Northeast region and Michael Baker. It's a single-span slab bridge over Mud Creek in Outagamie County on State Trunk 125. This $4 million project was notably the first project completed by WisDOT using design build. This allowed the contractor to adjust schedule and design details to their strengths while delivering a product meeting the design requirements set forth by the client. I do recognize the existential question of whether a design build project belongs or is eligible for design awards, but the committee will have to figure this out in the coming years. For now, I think it's worth commending Jason Sadowski at Baker, Jesse Hansen, and Ben Thompson at WisDOT for bringing this project to fruition. And that brings us to the nominee from North Central Region. It's the Main Street Bridge in the village of Westfield. MSA designed this bridge to replace a 93-year-old single-span structure, a small structure, yes, and with low costs, coherence with its setting, and efficiencies highlighted in the nomination that led the judges to pick it as this year's winner. Come on down, Q Klink and Julia Zahner from MSA, Jason Schaefer from North Central Region. This bridge is situated in a low-speed, small downtown setting, and the work was coordinated with a locally funded overhaul of North Main Street. There were utilities and storm sewer. A driveway immediately adjacent was incorporated into the plan. Not only was sidewalk included, but immediately off the bridges, it was designed to include a reinforced monolithic sidewalk and curb and gutter slab to reduce cracking and a bump that often forms right there. Another neat design detail had to do with the existing cobbled stone retaining wall. Cut stone boulders were used to avoid traditional retaining walls, which protect the slope from erosion and add a natural aesthetic touch. Congratulations, MSA and North Central Region, on this year's Best Structure by a Consultant. One for MSA and one for WisDOT, yeah? All right. Awesome. The next category is Best Urban Design by WisDOT. The Southwest region nominated the US 12 and Veterans Street intersection in Toma. The project is designed to improve the safety, pavement condition, pedestrian accommodation, traffic signals, lighting, water, and sanitary sewer utilities at this highly traveled location. The pavement replacement project was able to accommodate WB 67 truck movements and include new bike lanes on Veterans Street within the existing right-of-way. Thank you to Jared Lex in La Crosse for submitting your project. Next up is a project that is no stranger to the design awards. It's the Zoo Interchange. And this submittal focuses on the most recent North Leg, a $160 million urban interstate. The project required tremendous teamwork and coordination with stakeholders, including Southeast Region, Bureau of Structures, all the bureaus for that matter, Federal Highways, and many more. The large scope included bridges and walls and railroads. Construction took 3 full seasons, and in fact, the project won this year's construction award for Best Large Contract. Thank you to Chris Zacharias for nominating this fine project. My special thanks to Bob Gutierrez for being a constant champion for employee recognition and for these awards. The final nominee in the WisDOT category comes from Zach Grueling, Nicole Lisney, and their team at North Central Region for the I-39, State Trunk 66, and 10 interchange in Stevens Point. This was actually the only category this year where the judges had a unanimous vote. The vote is to come on down, Zach. You are this year's winner. Zach Grueling, his team at North Central Region. The first judging criterion is alternatives considered. And some people get kind of stuck on this because they think of the old kind of classic, no build, resurface, reconstruct. But it's more than that. It's the mini alternatives, from alignment tweaks to sidewalk location, maybe small but important design details that make a design like this one efficient and effective. One of the right turn lanes, for example, went into a shopping center where many drivers thought they were heading for the interstate, and then there were crashes, so the project modified the layout to be more clear. The team looked at 7 different alternatives for the northbound on-ramp alone. The location is a bustling commercial district, and the nomination emphasizes the crash problems and how the design team tackled those problems. Probably one of the most innovative parts of this design is the sidewalk. It had been on one side of the bridge, quite small, and there were several documented pedestrian crashes with the on-ramp movements to the interstate, or off-ramp rather. On-ramp and off-ramp, right? Yeah, the ramps. Nevertheless, the design moves the sidewalk to the center like you'd see in a DDI, which does introduce a bit more misdirection, but removes a lot of conflict points, widens the sidewalk, and shields users with concrete walls. I'm really interested to see how that performs over time. A neat detail on a great project. Congratulations, Zach and the team at North Central Region. Well, the next category is Best Urban Design by a Consultant. Let's head up to Somerset, where SEH and Northwest Region rebuilt a portion of State Trunk 35. While replacing the pavement, turn bays were added, signal timings were updated, and new pedestrian facilities were built that filled in gaps in the system. The design had to work with constraints. For example, it was desirable to perpetuate parking, but there were other design elements that ranked as more important. In the end, a portion of the parking was retained. A new path was built, in part thanks to a horizontal alignment shift to avoid impacts to a major retaining wall. thanks Brett Hollister from SEH and Jim Koenig from the Northwest region. A quick shout out here, you might remember the US 63 project in Spooner from this year's, this contest last year. Well, that project recently won the Gold Award in the Municipal Streets and Intersections category in the Excellence in Concrete Pavements nationally, given out by the American Concrete Pavement Association. So shout out, nice work, Beth Cunningham and SEH and your teams on that one. Next, back to this year, the Northeast region nominated East State Street, the village of Black Creek. Mike Malcolm at Westwood sent in the nomination with Jesse Hansen, the PM from WisDOT. One of the problems solved was a railroad underpass prone to flooding. The project included storm sewer connected to a lift station, all of it coordinated with new MGS beam guard elements. Urban work included resurfacing plus curb ramps. Several jobs were combined to get work done under one 42-day detour, enforced by time requirements and interim LDs. If you've been over to the Southwest Region office lately, you might have seen the reconditioning on US 51 northbound. Brian Hubritz from MSA with Amy Coughlin from WisDOT sent in this nomination. By and large, efficiency on this $250,000 project comes from retaining structural base and the existing cross-section. Along with the pavement work, curb ramps, ped buttons, and bike path crossings were updated. Coordination was needed with the FAA, transit organization, and local college. The Southeast region nominated State Trunk 50 in Kenosha, one of the largest urban roadway projects ever undertaken by WisDOT. Well, come on down, David Felber from HNTB, Jason Dahlgren from WisDOT. You are this year's winners. And let me be clear, if there's others from your team here, please come on down as well. I have a couple of names, and of course, yeah, here, come on down. Mana Joy, yeah. And the team from HNTB and Southeast, excellent. They call it a 6-lane highway, but that's before the turn lanes and ramps. In all, it's a 4.7-mile expansion project costing about $90 million. And out of the 5 bids received, the 2 lowest were less than 1% apart. The busy urban corridor incorporates bus and pedestrian facilities. The designers used 3D clash detection to assist in utility coordination and used 3D auto turn, especially for the 150 driveways on the corridor. Public involvement included companies, hospitals, schools, railroads, and more than 250 property owners. At the 50 and 31 intersection, the original jug handle design was dismissed after receiving negative feedback from the community and computing that $4 million in costs could be avoided. If that's not enough to get your picture with the governor, I'm not sure what is. Congratulations, HNTB and the Southeast region. Should have invited the governor to come to the celebration. I'll think about that for next year. Next category is Best Rural Design by WisDOT. We have 4 nominees here. We're going to start with the Southwest region, who nominated their US 12 project between Fort Atkinson and Whitewater. This project spent 8 years in design and went through several changes before a final version as a rural reconstruction. New pavement, culverts, and ditches should reduce ongoing maintenance, while 3 intersection modifications are expected to improve safety. Thanks to Justin Kutchenreiter for submitting this nomination. Next is the nominee from Northwest region. It's US 63 near the village of Clear Lake. More specifically, it's under US 63. It's an updated shared use trail crossing of the highway. This area is well loved for recreation, and this underpass allows people to access the community's only park without having to cross the 45-mile-an-hour US Highway 63 at grade. You can see the improvement in the picture from the existing passage. The intersection also used to be lined with beam guard itself, hazard, and a limiter to sight distance, which has been replaced with grading. Thanks to Beth Cunningham for nominating this project. The Northeast region nominated State Trunk 47 in Outagamie County, where deteriorated pavement and that was resurfaced and high-value safety improvements were made. The project leveraged HSIP funding to widen 3-foot paved shoulders to 5 feet so shoulder rumble strips could be added. Demonstrating some performance-based practical design, all the culverts were evaluated and those in good conditions were left as is. The team determined that one large steel culvert was deteriorating to the point that a new concrete box should be installed. Thanks, Jesse Hansen and your team, for sending in this nomination. And that brings us to Highway 21 in Waushara County, designed by the North Central region. The description in the nomination, I'll read it to you. It says, quote, "If you're looking for a project that exemplifies the WisDOT pillars of excellence, then you have found it. Partnerships, people, and process led to the success of this unique and complex pavement replacement project," end quote. And a lot of people put this kind of language into their nominations, and the judges are hired to sort of read through that and find out what's actually the substance of the nomination. But I tell you, without exaggeration, that is exactly what we found. Would you please come on down, Tim Hanley, to receive the award for State Trunk 21 in North Central. This is a 13-mile project on a rural principal arterial highway, ADT around 5,000. It sees cars and trucks and a lot of buggies, too. Buggy counts were performed, and shoulders were set at 6 feet in the most important areas. Well, online public involvement in the early days of COVID wouldn't have been effective with Amish populations, an important user here, so WisDOT prepared large displays, posted them in a covered outdoor area at the town hall for people to come and see. The environmental process also included the Ice Age Trail, whose parking lot was moved and roadway crossings made more clear. Multiple alternatives were considered for culvert replacements, including Class 1 trout streams. Replacing a small perched culvert at Lunch Creek, for example, opened up almost 1.5 miles of fish migration. At one intersection with crashes, HISIP funding allowed the design team to cut down a hill and improve sight distance. I'm listing just a few of the highlights. There are plenty of examples of work not done here, too, because it wasn't needed. So the judges and I consider this project to be an outstanding example of performance-based practical design, truly a skilled listening and stakeholder engagement, a model project. Congratulations. The next category is Rural Design by a Consultant. The first nominee comes from the Northeast region along the Highway 8 and 41 corridor in Marinette County. The design was accelerated, allowing construction to advance 3 years, especially helpful for a portion that had severe joint tenting. A unique RSRF 10 strategy included an asphaltic underseal on the milled surface prior to placing new HMA. Another segment was RSRF 30, another segment yet RSRF 20. This is just one example of how the team evaluated impacts, evaluated cost, and delivered the right project. Thanks Mike Malcolm from Westwood and Kurt Vogel, the WisDOT project manager. The next nominee is the State Trunk 67 pavement replacement and resurfacing in the village of Williams Bay, Southeast region. Bhupendra Bista was the PM from Strand, with Diego Silva, the PM at WisDOT. This project is designed to give a smoother ride and for local and commuter traffic. It also addresses a number of drainage needs. A couple of interesting elements here related to pedestrian access. They got the old steps in the sidewalk challenge. The solution revolved around adjusting the sidewalk profile and using a small retaining wall. Also, sidewalk was extended to make a connection to the Kishwaukee Nature Conservancy with an RRFB to bring visibility to that crossing. North Central region nominated their westbound State Trunk 29 project in Marathon County. The pavement design was right-sized to get the service life needed and avoid impacts to the existing concrete median barrier. A range of alternatives was considered at the Bass Lake Road intersection to address crashes there. Ultimately, the cul-de-sac was selected and hyssop money used on this project. The nomination focused on performance-based practical design to solve problems and reduce cost. Stephanie Christensen from EMCS and Corey Boehm from WisDOT, thank you for your work on this project. Southwest Region nominated their State Trunk 69 project, Belleville to Verona. With traffic congestion, flooding, and deteriorated pavement, this was once called, quote, the worst road in Wisconsin by WKOW Channel 27 News. Wow. Well, not anymore. Today we are calling it the best rural design by a consultant. Come on down. Brad Grove from JT, Mahesh Shrestha from DOT, the PM. You are the winners. Worst road in Wisconsin. This is an example here of some of the flooding from the Sugar River. The team was able to add new drainage structures, come up with a roadway profile that got above the 100-year flood elevation without impacting the adjoining floodplain. At the Highway 69 and PB intersection in Paoli, a four-way stop was converted to a roundabout to address crash problems, especially from Highway 69 being a high-speed roadway. They could also do away then with existing transverse rumble strips, reducing noise. The next road just to the north there is Paoli Street, which crosses 69 at a severe angle. It was cul-de-sac. If you happen to know this area, it's maybe one of the most popular bike routes in the state, and so while that location was cul-de-sac, a path remained to make that vital connection stay intact. Some areas of new alignment were designed to address severe crashes, although those new alignments impacted parkland. So the kayak launch in this picture is just one example of mitigation for those impacts. There's much more. These are just a few examples. So congratulations to JT and the Southwest Region team. Okay, well that brings us to our final category in this year's Design Awards. It's the local program. This is a great field, 5 regions participating again this year. The judges had to admit this was with a wide range of projects that can come through the local program. This was probably the most difficult category to judge. So we stuck with the published criteria, and here's what we came up with. Let's see what you think. Southwest Region nominated Old 73 over the Crawfish River by Ayers for the town of Columbus in Columbia County. The existing bridge was a 1932 vintage single-span steel overhead truss, recommended eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. Call me sentimental, it sort of breaks my heart to take these things down, but I mean, I get it, the load posting, size, maintenance. In this case, the team used terrestrial LiDAR to create a virtual fly-through of the existing bridge. They weren't able to salvage the bridge entirely, but a piece of it accompanies the display at the Columbus Area Historical Society. And I should say, by the way, the new one is a pretty darn nice 2-span concrete girder bridge, too. Thanks to Amanda Inman from Ayers and Zach Pearson, the local program project manager. Ayers was also the designer of Northeast Region's nomination, North County Line Road over East River in Calumet County. This is another bridge replacement, this one of a 1922 concrete slab. The design worked through several profile alternatives. The town funded raising a sag curve, resulting from concerns about site distance. The standards being used were kept tight to reduce cost and impacts, and Ayers was proud of the highly accurate plan set. We saw that too in the nomination. No addenda, no change orders, 5 tight bids. Thank you, Ryan Scheitel from Ayers and Doug Kirst from the Northeast Region. Heading down to the city of Kenosha, Southeast Region, R.A. Smith nominated their County Highway K project. This one had plenty of stakeholders and design elements, including 2 railroad crossings, a stream realignment, culvert replacement, on top of widening from 2 to 4 lanes, and adding a new shared use path along one side. The project also features a new stormwater pond and a duckbill-shaped check valve to ensure that floodwater won't back up into that pond. Thank you, Caleb Mansky, the PM from R.A. Smith, and Greg Hafman from the Southeast Region, and your teams for this nomination. The Northwest region nominated the Eau Claire Lakes Bridge, designed by Cooper Engineering for the town of Barnes. This was a strong nomination for a project that has a lot of things to work around. It starts with replacing a bridge from 1938 without impacting the concrete dam below. These are just some of the alternatives considered in different colors on the slide. Low vibration piling was necessary so that the dam wouldn't be damaged, and headroom under the bridge had to be considered since canoeists portage here. Quite a transformation. Thanks to Jacob Freiberg from Cooper Engineering, Matt Van Natta, and Paula Groom from the Northwest region for your work on this project and submitting the nomination. North Central region nominated their County Highway S project in Vilas County. And after a good deal of deliberating, the judges concluded that it is this year's winner. Would you come on down? Kevin Meyer from CORE, Nathan Waite to accept from Wisconsin DOT. I'll give a shout out to Mike Grage as well, the WisDOT PM for this job, who is on vacation in the Dominican Republic. Mike, I bet you wish you were here. This 3-mile-long roadway project is designed to improve safety. The highway is relocated up to 1,000 feet in some areas, and several 90-degree curves are removed. You can see some of the old and new alignment in this photo. Blind curves were particularly problematic here in this location on a road that serves logging trucks, vehicles towing trailers, and bicyclists, to name a few, the whole mix. Multi-jurisdictional coordination included the North Central region, county highway and forestry departments, and township. Extensive environmental collaboration with DNR was completed to address stream realignment and wetland impacts. For example, a new culvert at Tamarack Creek. While there are impacts, where there are impacts, they are to forest lands, and the old road will go back to forest lands. Congratulations on being this year's winner for Best Local Program Design. I'd like to just take a quick moment and say one more thank you to one person who is a huge help in the North Central Region's local program and design team. This year we lost our colleague Fred McHugh to cancer, a person many of us were proud to call a colleague and happy to call a friend. Fred, I will miss you, and you were one hell of a decent guy. Thank you to Fred for his contributions to all of us, and the North Central region in particular. These are the 7 winners from this year's Design Awards. 27 nominees. I really appreciate all of you here in the room who are willing to stay all the way till the end of the conference. I was joking with some people that we should have like a drawing or, a new truck that's given away at the end, but we'll be working on that in maybe a grant for next year or something. I really appreciate all of you who are here in the room and all of you on our worldwide online broadcast. It isn't easy to keep up with all the demands. If you didn't know, I'm actually a design oversight engineer. I work in Bureau of Project Development. It's my normal job. And I do the awards as a kind of special assignment. And I get a lot out of it, personally. It gets me enthusiastic about all the different kinds of projects that we have going. It keeps me hopeful to read about people working together inside the department with consultant partners and with the public. Another word could be neighbors. So, how about you? Did this little tour give you any ideas for your own work? Maybe even some inspiration. Maybe take a few notes today, and tomorrow you reach out to the people who did these designs and find out more, what worked and what didn't. And to keep my job as host, I try to avoid reporting too much on what didn't, but it's an important part of the design, right? And maybe more importantly, I'll encourage you to look for ways to recognize one another. Please do nominate your projects for next year's awards. But hey, don't wait. Tell somebody, hey, you did a nice job with that. Hey, I can see you're working hard on this. Try it at an individual level. Don't wait for a big program, right? I want to say thanks again to the judges for making this year's Design Awards program possible. Thanks to the teams who performed this work and nominated these 27 fine projects. Congratulations to our 7 winners. And until next time, everybody, have a great spring. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much.